love it. Hello, Kid Cloud. You should come over here and pick me up. And then we should have the rest of the spheres follow behind us. Then we should go fly over all the places that they are having war fighting, and we should just freeze time. Let's just freeze time. It'd be great. That's my solution. You see, these warfighters aren't going to stop warfighting. They don't want to stop warfighting. And I think it's just the easiest way to do it. We'll just freeze time, okay? And then we'll just go through them one by one and just, well, I think that's the best thing to do. Freeze time. I think it's what we've got to do. Because you're so cute. You're like a little bulbous, little fluffy cloud right there. This is true. I love it. Oh, I love it when it does that too. See it? Oh dear. Oh dear. No. No. Well, that happened for a reason. Alexandria, my love, where are you? Yes, well, we have this blood moon coming up tomorrow. I'm coming for you. Come hell or high water. That means through the process of authority. With the authority that I have. We've arrived, guys. We're at that pinnacle moment of the shifting of the changing of the guards. Oh, that's cool. Yep. It's changing the guards. That's why the warfighters are trying to get it out of their system, because they're just like little tantrum-throwing brats. A brat is what you call an adult acting like a child. Isn't it disgusting to hear them say things like, to like put this thing out there like they're, like he believes in God or something, and then they go war fight. Hello, darling, do you really think that God the Creator has anything to do with like murder and bloodshed and war fighting? No, but see, here's the thing. Physicists don't understand it. They've got a negative perspective. They think it's all about entropy, and that's a pessimistic point of view. But what they're starting to figure out is that it's the exact opposite. It's not random. The universe is not random. The universe is absolutely, well, God's cosmos, and there's two sides to space, but ultimately the controlling factor of the cosmos is harmony, balance. Super awesome. That's that old world. The old world was built by God. Yeah, those old buildings, and the system was all dialed in. Nobody could build those but God. You'd have to build it all at the same time to get the situation all dialed in, where the water runs the fountains, runs the trains, runs the elevators. and so on and so forth. That was God's kingdom. That's what I believe. I think it makes perfect sense according to the story that God, right? It said Christ will reign for 1,000 years and then Satan will be put away for 1,000 years. Well, 1,000 years means an event, and it means like it involves everybody. So I think it's plausible that those 144,000 were taken off planet, and then God, boo-boosh, put the old world on top of the previous. That's what those guys were returned here after this, swooshing and swashing of the water. They thought they were the winners because they were brought back. Little did they know they were on their final test. This is their last chance. This is theirs. That's right. The leaders of the world, this is their last chance. Whereas other people aren't so quite at the end of the rope with God. God built the whole thing, and then it was all dialed in. So everybody near it. When we're talking technology that they don't even understand, being analog. That's right. That's why they just sealed it up and pinned to death. Pretended they were patent inventors, and they fabricated the whole entire market. This has only been the last few hundred years. They've falsified the truth, and it's all been a hatred against women because woman was the one that was leading. Everything's been falsified. It's just the truth. The woman has the womb. Whether you want to admit it or not, gentlemen, it's what it is. We were created to birth God's children. It's nothing against you. It's also a piece of the story too. But regardless of anything, and I've got the cosmology that makes the math pans out. That the history was a rendering in the storyline. So imagine God built the old world. And when God did that, we're talking all dialed in. And if I can only show you these buildings, we're talking, the stone buildings. They're huge. Chandeliers, mirrors from top to bottom, the floor to the ceiling. I mean, just, it's the most beautiful thing when you look at it. And when I just did research this last month, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even I feel so excited to finally have them, but that's what God's going to do again. And the truth of the matter is that it's important because that's why we can go, hey, Mr. Mankind, acting like you and your nonsense, them and their religious claims against land, their claims to be able to war fight, their claims to own women and children. Their claims are all fraud and void and bogus. The Vatican is bogus. No joke. That's not the truth, but it says it in there, guys. It says it. And even the elect will be fooled, right? You just have to think for yourself. What's a deceiver going to do? Yeah, he's going to lie to himself and he's going to yada yada. Well, come on. If the whole narrative of the religious thing was the point, it was trying to distract everybody, to cause everybody to go along with the devil. Well, whatever the case may be, there's nothing to worry about. God is love, and that's the bottom line. This is the end of the mystery of God. So it's not about any war fighting sense. No, guys. This is Mr. Mankind can sit down and be quiet now. This is the end of the mystery of God. God's proving to us that God exists right now through all of this. And God's put pieces like Easter eggs all over the place. Look for them and you'll find them. Guaranteed it. Look for your truth everywhere you look, that only God would know you'd look. And I bet you $5 you're going to find it. Bet you $5. You're going to find it. Because that's how awesome God is. And God, it's going to turn out that He dials it all in at all times. And that's just how awesome God is. Everywhere I look, every time I look, I find it. This is not a joke. And I've been doing this intensely for the last 8 years that I have been in this covenant with God, going through this persecution. And imagine if you had to be that person in that situation where, like, it turned out you were the one sealed. It turned out that you were the one it was talking about. It turned out it's your story that's in there. It turns out it's got nothing to do with fathers and sons. And in fact, it's got everything to do with mothers and daughters. Ripped apart since the beginning of Egypt. Yeah, Egypt was pretty badass. You better ask yourself, if you're reading some scripture where they're trying to talk shit on Egypt, you might want to look at who's talking shit again. You want to take another look at that guy who's got nothing to speak for, and he's talking shit on Egypt. Are you out of your mind? Oh, Lord, I got to tell you. So anyway, it's great news. The spheres are here. The time is changing. We've got this blood moon tomorrow. And God is proving that God exists through so many methods. Because God knows that in order for us to be love, we've got to experience it. But if you've only got between point A and point B, right? If you can only confer with your creation, at one point, like in the beginning or in the end, between point A and point B. And the goal is to get them in the gates, to get them from now point B to point C, right? You choose at the end, not at the beginning. That's the best, that's the only way you can do it. You're not going to try to tell them everything they need to know up front. That's just you go in at the end, and that's what this is all about. So we haven't had God. We haven't been in God's jurisdiction. It's been the influence of the imposter. That's all. That's all. It's an imposter. It looks close. It's a good, but it's not. And you can answer those questions for yourself. Do parents send their children to die for other people's sins? Like, hey, sorry, sweetheart, we got to go send you to go sacrifice. Mikey down the street, which went to jail. He's got to get off. No, are you out of your mind? God wouldn't do that. God, the creator, how insulting. God didn't ask for that. Jesus didn't choose to do that. But that's what they do. They tell stories. They change narratives. You don't repeat the same story. I mean, like, how slimy is that? Like, they don't even like the smell of themselves. So it's great news. This is it. It's happening. But, and I don't know how this is going to unfold, but I do know that it will, and I know that when it does, that I'm our captain. So that's the truth. And it's the most amazing thing. And I've got a long story, so don't expect me to be able to put it in just 2 sentences. I've got all the evidence that I've been gathering of God, and I'm here to present this information before all the people, and therefore that all the people can start looking for the evidences around them. See, I'm our teacher, basically. I'm at the head of this classroom that we're going to start. We're going to everyone's going to be together. We're going to find out what's going on in our world. We're going to clean our world. We're going to fix our world. We're going to do it together. And it's just that small pile of them that wanted to still play G.I. Joe, Barbie robot babes, fantasy land. That's dumb. But so that's what we need to know, is just to be equipped with that information. They didn't create anything. They didn't invent anything. They found it. They reverse engineered it. They pretended they made it. That's why the world doesn't look anything like the old one, because God built all that. And God built that all before. That's God. That's heaven on earth, is those badass buildings. That's God's work. So it was given to us so that we could learn. The man was tested. Which technologies did he use? How did he, all we had to do was get along. But they decided to hoard it, penny pinch us, and that's usually what happens. That's usually what mankind does. It's a juvenile thing, But God wants us to know that God is love. And we're going to experience it. And I'm mama. And it's going to be all the babies. All the mamas. All the papas. All the peaceful, good, happy people that just enjoy Earth. And even those billionaires, for example, with their bad attitudes, just give them a few minutes to snap out of their stupor. They don't know any better. But once everybody gets into the chill energy of what's coming, everyone's going to feel better. Even the wackadoos, And God's got a purpose, and I got to tell you, I believe wholeheartedly with all my heart. I have faith in what God has shown me to know, but it's still just, as far as I know, I don't assume that it will happen, but I contemplate the what if, and I take it seriously because it's at the heart of this persecution, which is that I want my time with my daughter back. We've been forced separated for over 9 years, and it's absolute insanity. I don't even know if she's dead or alive. And we're the ones who have the genetic novelty that has their whole biotech industry that they're basically assaulting the world with. They stole from us. They've been trying to kill it, and they wanted to make all their money forever, but they're ding-dongs. I want my time back. And so the calculation for the days of Daniel ends with the 9th degree of the first cycle, and it apparently is going to bring us back those 15 years. Like it says, you'll get those 15 years back in Isaiah, which is applicable to my mother's story, and 15 years prior to the end of her death, when she died in 2023, brings us to 2008, right before I gave birth. That's exactly what I asked for. So that's exactly what it calculated to. And so therefore I'm looking forward to that. And that's this Easter. Comes right before the day of that. Well, the day that I calculated is in fact that day. I calculated the 10th degree on the 10th. It gets dialed back 10 degrees. It's pretty awesome. So that's what I know. Now you know it. Now you know. Oh, I love it. It's so nice. It's warm here. I love it. Really cool. All right, everybody. This is so nice. My gosh. Yeah. What you guys? So fluffy. Super awesome. I love it. It says honey. They're alive. Everything is alive. Yep. As a matter of fact, God is the intelligence. So they think they're looking for AGI and stuff. God's already doing it. God is already the intelligence of the cosmos. So God can already be inside your computer and communicate through the symbols that are left in the past from the future. The future influences the past. No joke. That's how you'll find it in the past. Influenced by now. That's how you can confirm what's going on. At least that's how I've found it. That's what God's guided me to. All right. Till next time.